In today's video, I'm going to make a garland for your shelf. I wanted to embellish my room, so I made these little ghosts and creepy spiders out of basic materials. Hi, it's Val with more Halloween stuff. As you know, Halloween is coming very soon. I'm sure you're super excited about that. I am too. And I wanted my decor to be a little bit spookier, so I thought about making this beautiful shelf garland. I have never seen this before on any other channel, so I thought my concept was unique and I really needed to try it. But as I was working on the project, I realized it was maybe not the best idea. I have concerns. It can break in the future. So I'm gonna show you all the process of it, but I don't consider this a tutorial. If you wanna try it, go ahead, but I don't recommend it. As usual, it all started with a plan. My plan was to use cardboard that I would cut to the size of my shelf. From there, I would attach some strings. Some of them would have big ornaments at the base, like ghosts and spiders, and in between those big elements, I would put a ton of strings with pom-poms on them. It sounded like a good plan. Now let's see how it turned out. I decided to start by making the ghosts. For the body, I used foam balls. By gluing a full ball to half of a ball with hot glue, I had this shape, but I wanted to have this shape, so I needed to fill all that space. To do so, I used cotton balls and Elmer's glue. Whoops. I wanted to keep my ghost light, so I thought cotton balls were perfect for that purpose. I added cotton until I got the shape I wanted. It doesn't need to be perfect because I'm going to hide this with yarn later on. I let it dry, and this is how it turned out. I then used sandpaper to make it a little bit smoother. I also made a hole on top of my ghosts. I used a wooden stick for that. Now, off camera, I cut this circle and this oval out of a piece of cardboard. I will use those as templates to make the eyes and the mouth of my ghost. And I copied those on a piece of black felt. If you want to reproduce that ghost, for the next step you will need to be patient and meticulous. To help you, I strongly suggest you buy a tool like this. I tried with scissors and it was not easy. I determined how long I wanted my ghost to be by cutting a piece of white yarn. This piece became my reference, and after that I cut a lot more, enough to fill my ghost. I was applying a line of hot glue for a piece of yarn. Line of hot glue, piece of yarn. Don't forget to avoid the hole that we made earlier. We don't want to shut it off. I told you, you really need to be patient for this process. For the face, it was a little bit more tricky because you need to cut your pieces as you go. When I was done filling up my ghost, I finished by putting yarn around his features. I think I put 2 layers for the eyes and 1 for the mouth. Using a mix of glossy Mod Podge and glitter, I covered up his whole body, leaving untouched the dangling part. The glitter will give him more texture, and the Mod Podge will harden the yarn we just put. If you want to know what type of glitter I used, I will leave a link in the description of the video. Once all of this was dry, I split the yarn to make my ghost more fluffy. And finally I was done. I still needed to make 2 more, but for the sake of this video we will just skip to the spiders. To make my spider, I glued a medium foam ball to a small one. As we did for the ghost, I made a hole. And as for the ghost, I needed yarn, glue sticks, and my glue gun. Starting from the inside to the outside, I will cover my spider with yarn. As for the ghost, this step was tedious. With pipe cleaners, I created the legs. 2 pipe cleaners will give me 8 legs. If you watched my video DIY wooden miniature haunted house, it's basically the same technique I'm using. In that video I made tiny spiders, but instead of using foam balls, I used wooden beads. And instead of using yarn, I used embroidery floss. And the result was just perfect. For this video I decided to make my spiders white. I don't know if you ever seen tiny spiders, white spiders, but those are so gross. And I love making unusual things, so I wanted to try and make mine white. With tiny pieces of pipe cleaners, I shaped the mouth. This spider is starting to get creepy, but not enough. It's true that I'm grossed out by white spiders, but hairy spiders are also a thing. I cut tiny pieces of yarn that I glued on its back and legs to make it even more disgusting. To make the eyes, I went with those red beads. The hole in the center makes them perfect for that purpose. I used the same mixture of glitter and Mod Podge that I used on the ghost. The Mod Podge will harden all the hair I just put on the spider, leaving them high up and well defined. But once it was dry, I had a bad surprise. On the mouth, an orange color appeared. Maybe it's rust, I don't know. I think the pipe cleaners don't react well to the moisture of the Mod Podge. So you have 2 options here. 1, if you don't care about glitter, just don't apply Mod Podge. 2, make your spiders black. You will not see it. In my video, Wooded Haunted House, I did 3 black spiders with pipe cleaners and Mod Podge, and I didn't have this problem. Now that we are done with our ornaments, it's time to assemble the garland. I took the measurements of my shelf to know what size of cardboard I needed. Since I know most people don't leave their decor all year, I decided to make 3 panels easy to store. I identified all my panels from 1 to 3. That way I know where to put them on my shelf. The arrows represents where the big ornaments are going, and when I marked all my elements, I punched holes in the cardboard. It was time to create the strings of the garland. I started by gluing my ornaments to a black yarn with tacky glue. You can use hot glue, but tacky glue is stronger over time. That's why I went with that option. Once it was dry, I used a needle with a large hole to add pom-poms. Then I used a toothpick and Elmer's glue to fix the pom-poms to the strings. If you don't do that, the pom-poms will slip down with the gravity. For this garland, I made 5 ornaments and created 71 strings. I used 15 big pom-poms and 264 small pom-poms. Yes, that's a lot of pom-poms. To fix them to the cardboard, I made a double knot, but I was not sure it was enough, so I also put a dot of hot glue. And for the big ornaments, I put even more glue. Like this, it looks great, but in reality, I don't know if it's gonna hold or if it's gonna break eventually. I noticed that the strings with the big elements are overstretched. Even though I use light materials like yarn and foam, it's still too heavy, and that's a big problem because you don't want to spend hours working on something that can break. Another thing that is annoying with this project is that the ornaments are always turning, so they can face the wall instead of facing you, and they can stay in that position, which can be disappointing. And there's another thing that is bothering me, it's the last thing, is that we can see all the spots of hot glue that I put on the strings to fix them to the cardboard. It's not a big deal, but it's not pretty either, and I'm sure there's a way to fix that, but at this point I was done with that project. If you like the concept of making a garland for your shelf, you can always make it, but you can only use pom-poms, that way it will be light, and if you play with colors and different sizes, you can create something fun and unique. If you love those little ghosts, I love them so much, they are so cute, and those creepy spiders, which I am okay with them, but if you like them and you want to reproduce them at home, you can always turn them into ornaments for the tree. I'm sure they will look good in a spooky tree. So that's about it for today. Stay tuned because my next video will be about a big project I have in mind. It will be the introduction of that project. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm super excited. It's something crazy. You will see. So stay tuned for that. If you like that video, please like. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe. Stay safe and spooky, and I see you soon with more Halloween stuff to come. Bye!